Greetings, fellow explorers of the galaxy far, far away. Before we begin this epic journey into the forgotten annals of galactic engineering, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more legendary tales from the depths of Star Wars lore. In the year 0 BBY, when the first Death Star emerged from hyperspace above Scarif, the Rebel Alliance gazed upon what they believed to be the ultimate expression of Imperial might. 120 kilometers of durasteel and terror, a moon-sized weapon capable of reducing entire worlds to cosmic dust with a single blast from its super laser. The galaxy trembled at its approach, for surely nothing in the known universe could match such devastating scale. But legends speak of a time when ancient chroniclers would have laughed at such presumption. Deep within the restricted archives of the Jedi Temple, hidden beneath layers of quantum encryption that even Master Yoda dared not breach, there existed fragmentary records of vessels so impossibly vast that the Death Star would appear as nothing more than an escape pod lost in their shadow. Ships built by civilizations whose names have been erased from galactic memory, constructed with technologies that bend the very fabric of space and time to their will. The Celestials knew of such things. The Rakata built them, and in the furthest reaches of the unknown regions, some say they drift still, sleeping giants waiting for the stars to align once more. Picture, if you will, standing on the observation deck of a star destroyer as it approaches what you believe to be a small moon. But as your sensors penetrate the cosmic dust, the terrible truth emerges. This is no celestial body. The surface bears the geometric patterns of constructed hull plating stretching beyond the horizon. Docking bays large enough to swallow entire fleets. Superstructures that rise like mountain ranges into the void. You are witnessing something that was never meant to exist, yet undeniably does. Today we chronicle 10 such titans, each more impossible than the last, building toward a revelation so staggering that it will forever change how you perceive the scale of galactic ambition. But which of these ancient leviathans claims the throne as the most colossal vessel ever conceived by sentient minds? The answer lies buried in the deepest vaults of galactic history, and only the brave dare seek it. To understand the true magnitude of what we are about to explore, we must first establish our foundation in the familiar. The Death Star, that technological terror constructed by the Galactic Empire, serves as our baseline for comprehension. At 120 kilometers in diameter, it contained enough firepower to obliterate an entire planet, housing over 1 million Imperial personnel within its spherical hull. The engineering marvel required the resources of countless star systems and represented the pinnacle of known Imperial construction capabilities. Yet even as Emperor Palpatine's engineers celebrated their achievement, they remained ignorant of the ancient truths that lay scattered across the galaxy like forgotten dreams. For in the time before the Republic, before the Jedi and Sith carved their endless war across the stars, there existed civilizations whose ambitions stretched far beyond the mere destruction of worlds. They sought to reshape the very cosmos itself. The galaxy remembers them only in whispers now. The Celestials, whose mastery over space and time allowed them to move stars at will, constructing cosmic arrangements that served purposes we can barely fathom. The Rakatan Infinite Empire, whose dark side-powered technologies consumed entire systems to fuel their endless hunger for expansion. The Gree Enclave, whose biomechanical fusion of living tissue and metal created vessels that grew rather than being built. These ancient architects understood something that modern galactic civilization has forgotten. They knew that in a universe where hyperspace lanes connect billions of inhabited worlds, where entire species migrate between star clusters, and where wars span multiple galactic arms, the concept of scale must be redefined entirely. What use is a weapon that can destroy one world when your empire encompasses millions? What meaning does a ship have if it cannot carry the population of entire civilizations? In the deepest archives of Coruscant, beneath layers of bureaucratic records and political documents, xenoarchaeologists have uncovered references to structures they initially dismissed as myth. Ancient shipping manifests speak of construction projects requiring the output of thousand-world industrial complexes. Jedi chronicles mention meditation retreats built within vessels so vast that apprentices would spend years simply traveling from one training chamber to another. Sith holocrons boast of mobile fortresses that carried entire dark side cults across the galaxy, complete with their own agricultural worlds, mining operations, and slave populations. The mathematics alone challenges our understanding. A structure measuring merely 1,000 kilometers in length would possess internal volume equivalent to hundreds of worlds. Increase that scale to 10,000 kilometers, and you approach the living space of entire sectors. Push beyond that threshold and you enter realms where the distinction between vessel and habitat, between ship and civilization, begins to blur entirely. But size alone does not capture the true wonder of these constructions. The ancient builders possessed technologies that modern science can barely theorize. Gravitational manipulation systems that could generate artificial gravity wells strong enough to capture passing asteroids and incorporate them into the ship's hull. Hyperspace generators so powerful they could tear holes in the fabric of space-time itself, allowing vessels to travel instantaneously across galactic distances without relying on established hyperspace lanes. Self-replicating construction systems that could harvest raw materials from entire star systems, growing the ship continuously as it traveled. Consider the implications of vessels that exist on such scales. Their crews would number in the billions, living entire lifetimes without ever seeing the ship's exterior hull. Generations would be born, live, and die within specialized sections dedicated to specific functions. Agricultural districts would span continents, supporting populations larger than most planetary civilizations. Industrial sectors would contain manufacturing capabilities exceeding entire galactic trade networks. Military divisions would field fleets of smaller vessels that themselves dwarf anything in modern navies. These were not mere ships in any conventional sense. They were mobile civilizations carrying the accumulated knowledge, culture, and power of entire species across the cosmos. When such a vessel arrived in a star system, it did not merely visit that system. It fundamentally altered the local balance of power, economics, and even stellar mechanics through its sheer presence. The ancient texts speak of protocols governing encounters with such entities. Entire planetary governments would relocate their capitals to orbital positions, hoping to gain favor with the vessel's inhabitants. Trade negotiations would span decades as merchants attempted to comprehend economic systems operating on previously unimaginable scales. Military commanders would review their defensive strategies, knowing that conventional warfare had no meaning when faced with opponents who could simply relocate stars to more advantageous positions. Yet for all their power, these titans of the ancient galaxy remain largely forgotten, their existence relegated to the realm of academic speculation and archaeological curiosity. The question that haunts every researcher who stumbles upon these fragmentary records is not merely how such constructions were possible, but what force could have been powerful enough to remove them from galactic memory so completely. The answer to that question lies in the 10 vessels we are about to explore, each one a testament to ambitions that stretched beyond the boundaries of sanity itself. Our journey into the realm of impossibility begins where official imperial records end and The whispered legends of the expanded universe take hold. Here, in the vast archives of what was once considered canon, we discover our first glimpses of vessels that challenge every assumption about the limits of galactic engineering. The transition from documented history to mythical possibility occurs at a precise moment in galactic chronology. When the New Republic's historians began cataloguing the remnants of the Empire's secret projects, they uncovered construction blueprints that defied rational explanation. Deep within the Maw installation, Admiral Dala's researchers had been developing prototype vessels that pushed the boundaries of what the Empire considered feasible. These were not mere experiments in firepower or defensive capabilities, but fundamental explorations of scale itself. The first hints came from intercepted Imperial communications referencing Project Celestial Hammer, a construction initiative that required the industrial output of 17 core world manufacturing centers operating at maximum capacity for over a decade. The ships produced by this program would serve as mobile command centers for sector fleets, but their specifications suggested something far more ambitious than traditional military vessels. Intelligence analysts studying these documents initially assumed the measurements contained transcription errors. No logical engineering principle could support the construction of vessels measuring multiple kilometers in length while maintaining structural integrity under combat conditions. Yet as more evidence emerged from captured Imperial facilities, a disturbing pattern began to develop. The Empire had not merely been building larger versions of existing ship classes, they had been attempting to construct entirely new categories of vessel that operated according to principles the Republic had never encountered. The revelation came when New Republic scouts discovered the abandoned construction facilities orbiting Biss, the Emperor's hidden throne world. Here, in massive shipyards that stretched across entire asteroid belts, they found partially completed hull sections that dwarfed anything in the Imperial fleet. The scale of construction suggested vessels intended not for military conquest alone, but for the transportation and governance of entire populations across galactic distances. Archaeological evidence from these sites revealed construction techniques that borrowed heavily from ancient technologies. The Empire's engineers had apparently discovered fragmentary records of pre-Republic shipbuilding methods, incorporating design elements that dated back thousands of years. Gravitational field generators of unknown origin had been reverse-engineered to provide structural support for hull sections that would otherwise collapse under their own mass. Hypermatter reactors operating on principles that violated known physics provided power systems capable of sustaining entire civilizations. But the most disturbing discovery was the realization that these Imperial projects represented merely the latest iteration of a construction philosophy that stretched back across galactic history. The Empire had not invented the concept of vessels on this scale. They had simply rediscovered techniques that ancient civilizations had perfected millennia ago. Deep-core archaeological surveys began uncovering evidence of similar construction projects throughout galactic history. The remains of massive shipyards drift in the space between stars, their automated systems long since fallen silent, but their basic infrastructure still intact. These facilities show signs of having produced vessels orders of magnitude larger than anything the Empire had attempted. The mathematical models required to design such constructions demand computational capabilities that exceed anything in modern galactic civilization. The implications become clear when we consider the logistical requirements of governing a galactic empire. Traditional methods of communication and transportation break down when dealing with the vast distances between star systems. A conventional fleet might require months or years to respond to crises in distant sectors. But a mobile command center, capable of carrying entire governmental bureaucracies, military forces, and civilian populations, could maintain direct control over multiple sectors simultaneously. This was the vision that drove ancient galactic powers to attempt constructions that pushed the boundaries of physical possibility. They understood that true galactic dominance required not merely the ability to destroy worlds, but the capacity to govern them effectively across impossible distances. The solution lay in creating vessels that were not simply ships, but mobile civilizations capable of projecting power and authority wherever they traveled. The builders of these ancient titans possessed technologies that modern science struggles to explain. Archaeological surveys have uncovered references to construction materials that exist in quantum superposition, maintaining structural integrity through manipulation of fundamental forces rather than conventional engineering principles. Power systems that derive energy directly from hyperspace itself, eliminating the need for traditional fuel sources. Navigation systems that plot courses through dimensions beyond normal space-time, allowing instantaneous travel across galactic distances. Yet even these marvels of ancient engineering pale before the constructions we are yet to explore. The vessels we have discussed thus far represent merely the foundation level of galactic ambition. Beyond them lie constructions so vast, so impossible, that they challenge our very understanding of what constitutes a ship rather than a mobile world. The true giants of galactic history await our discovery in the deeper archives of forgotten civilizations where the line between engineering achievement and cosmic impossibility disappears entirely. We begin our ascent through the hierarchy of cosmic titans, with vessels that, while still comprehensible to modern minds, represent the first steps beyond conventional galactic engineering. At position 10 we encounter the Eclipse-class Star Dreadnought, Emperor Palpatine's personal flagship, and the ultimate expression of Imperial naval supremacy. Stretching 17.5 kilometers from bow to stern, the Eclipse represented everything the Empire understood about projecting power through scale. Its hull incorporated advanced armor plating that could withstand sustained bombardment from entire rebel fleets, while its primary weapon system featured a super laser capable of cracking planetary crusts with surgical precision. Unlike the Death Star's crude, planet-killing beam, the Eclipse's weapon could carve continents from worlds with the delicacy of a sculptor's chisel. The vessel's crew complement exceeded that of most planetary defense forces, with over 600,000 Imperial personnel operating its countless systems. Its hangar bays housed fighter squadrons numbering in the thousands, while its manufacturing facilities could produce replacement vessels during extended campaigns. The Eclipse was not merely a warship, but a mobile seat of Imperial government, complete with throne rooms, audience chambers, and administrative complexes that rivaled the governmental centers of core worlds. Yet even this monument to Imperial engineering becomes dwarfed when we consider our ninth entry, the Supremacy. The First Order's mobile capital represented a fundamental shift in galactic naval architecture, abandoning the traditional elongated hull design in favor of a massive wing configuration spanning 60 kilometers from tip to tip. This flying city served as both military command center and industrial complex, its internal volume exceeding that of most space stations. The Supremacy's construction required the harvesting of entire star systems, its hull incorporating metals and materials from dozens of worlds. Its population numbered in the millions, creating a self-sustaining civilization that traveled the galaxy aboard a single vessel. The ship's manufacturing capabilities could produce entire fleets of star destroyers, while its agricultural sections sustained populations larger than many planetary colonies. But it is with our eighth entry that we begin to glimpse the true scale of ancient ambitions. The modified Lucrehulk-class battleships of the Trade Federation, expanded far beyond their original specifications, represented early experiments in truly massive vessel construction. These ring-shaped titans, measuring over 100 kilometers in diameter, demonstrated design philosophies that would influence shipbuilders for millennia. The ring configuration offered unprecedented internal volume, while maintaining structural integrity through distributed stress patterns. The largest variants could dock entire fleets within their hollow centers while maintaining full combat capability. Their modular construction allowed continuous expansion, with some vessels growing to accommodate populations equivalent to entire sectors. The ring design also provided natural rotation for artificial gravity generation, creating comfortable living conditions across vast internal surfaces. These three vessels establish our baseline for understanding galactic-scale engineering, yet they represent merely the foundation upon which ancient builders would construct their true masterpieces. Each demonstrates crucial technological principles that would be refined and expanded by civilizations whose ambitions stretched far beyond conventional warfare. The eclipse showed how traditional ship design could be scaled upward while maintaining military effectiveness. The supremacy proved that alternative hull configurations could support mobile civilizations. The expanded Lucca hulks demonstrated how modular construction techniques could create vessels of theoretically unlimited size. But even as we marvel at these engineering achievements, fragmentary records from the deep core archives speak of constructions that render these vessels insignificant by comparison. Ancient shipping manifests reference construction projects requiring materials harvested from entire galactic arms. Archaeological surveys have discovered shipyard facilities that stretch across multiple star systems, their assembly areas large enough to construct hundreds of Eclipse-class vessels simultaneously. The mathematics of such constructions challenge our understanding of physics itself. Vessels measuring hundreds of kilometers in length would require gravitational manipulation systems to prevent their own mass from collapsing into stellar formation. Their power requirements would exceed the output of entire star systems, demanding technologies that harvest energy directly from cosmic phenomena. Their crew populations would number in the billions, creating societies of unprecedented complexity aboard single vessels. Yet these considerations pale before the evidence emerging from the galaxy's most ancient archaeological sites. Deep beneath the surface of forgotten worlds, researchers have uncovered references to vessels so vast that their construction required the cooperation of multiple galactic civilizations. These projects spanned millennia, with entire species dedicating their existence to completing constructions whose purpose remained mysterious even to their builders. The question that haunts every researcher studying these ancient records is not merely how such constructions were possible, but why they were considered necessary. What threats or opportunities could justify the expenditure of resources that exceeded the gross output of entire galactic economies? What destinations required? Transportation capacity measured in planetary populations? The answers to these questions lie hidden within the 7 remaining entries on our list, each one a step closer to understanding ambitions that stretched beyond the boundaries of conventional reality. The 7th entry in our chronicle brings us face to face with constructions that blur the line between vessel and cosmic phenomenon. Centerpoint Station, discovered in the Corellian system, measures 350 kilometers in length and represents our first encounter with technology that operates on planetary scales. This ancient celestial construction predates known galactic civilization by tens of thousands of years, its purpose and builders lost to the mists of prehistoric time. Centerpoint Station's primary function as a gravitational manipulation device reveals the true scope of ancient engineering ambitions. The station could move entire planets through hyperspace, relocating star systems according to incomprehensible design patterns. Its construction required materials and techniques that modern science cannot replicate, incorporating crystalline matrices that focus gravitational fields with surgical precision. The energy requirements for such operations exceed the output of multiple stars, yet the station draws power from sources that remain completely mysterious to contemporary researchers. The station's internal structure contains chambers large enough to house entire fleets connected by transportation networks that span continental distances. Archaeological surveys have revealed living quarters designed for populations numbering in the millions, suggesting that Centerpoint was not merely a facility, but a mobile civilization capable of reshaping the galaxy according to its inhabitants' vision. Our sixth entry represents the logical extreme of Imperial engineering philosophy. The Death Star 3 concepts, developed in the deepest vaults of Imperial research facilities, called for battle stations measuring 900 kilometers in diameter. These theoretical constructions would have possessed firepower capable of sterilizing entire star systems, their superlaser arrays generating beams that could ignite gas giants or shatter asteroid belts with casual precision. The proposed construction. Timeline for Death Star 3 spanned decades, requiring the industrial output of the entire galaxy operating at maximum capacity. The design specifications called for crew complements exceeding 50 million Imperial personnel, creating floating cities devoted entirely to the projection of destructive power. The battle station's defensive systems would have incorporated entire Star Destroyer squadrons as point defense platforms, while its manufacturing capabilities could produce replacement Death Stars during extended campaigns. Yet even these monuments to Imperial ambition fade into insignificance when compared to our fifth entry. The Kuat Drive Yard's orbital shipyard complex, expanded to its theoretical maximum configuration, represents construction on a scale that challenges our understanding of engineering possibility. Stretching over 1,000 kilometers in length, this industrial megastructure could construct hundreds of Star Destroyers simultaneously while maintaining production schedules that exceeded the needs of galactic warfare. The shipyard's construction required the systematic dismantling of entire star systems, its hull incorporating raw materials from thousands of worlds. The facility's workforce numbered in the hundreds of millions, creating a mobile industrial civilization that traveled from system to system, consuming astronomical resources and producing fleets of unprecedented size. The shipyard's internal transportation networks required dedicated hyperspace lanes, while its power systems drew energy from multiple stellar sources simultaneously. But it is here, at the threshold of constructions measuring in the thousands of kilometers, that we encounter our first hints of truly ancient ambitions. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Kuat shipyards represented attempts to reconstruct facilities originally built by prehistoric civilizations, whose engineering capabilities far exceeded anything achieved by known galactic powers. Deep core surveys have uncovered the remains of construction projects that dwarf even these expanded Imperial facilities. Massive ring structures drift in the space between stars, their purposes lost but their scale undeniable. These ancient shipyards show evidence of having produced vessels so large that they required multiple star systems worth of raw materials for their construction. The implications become clear when we consider the logistical requirements of such constructions. Vessels measuring thousands of kilometers would require crew populations larger than most planetary civilizations. Their internal volume would exceed that of small moons, while their resource requirements would strain the productive capacity of entire galactic sectors. Yet the evidence suggests that ancient builders not only attempted such constructions but completed them successfully. The mathematical models required to design structures of this scale demand computational capabilities that exceed anything in modern galactic civilization. The gravitational effects alone would require constant management to prevent the vessel from collapsing into a stellar mass. The power systems would need to harvest energy on scales that approach stellar output, while the structural materials would require exotic matter configurations that exist at the very limits of physical possibility. Yet these considerations represent merely the technical challenges of construction. The more profound question concerns the purpose that could justify such enormous expenditures of resources and effort. What missions required transportation capacity measured in planetary populations? What threats demanded defensive capabilities that exceeded the firepower of entire galactic fleets? The answers to these questions lie buried in the deepest archives of galactic history, where references to constructions of truly impossible scale await our discovery. The 5 remaining entries on our list will challenge every assumption about the limits of engineering achievement, revealing ambitions that stretched beyond the boundaries of rational possibility into realms where science and mythology converge. As we cross the threshold into measurements exceeding 10,000 kilometers, we enter realms where conventional physics begins to break down and ancient technologies reveal their true impossibility. Our 4th entry forces us to acknowledge constructions that challenge the very definition of what constitutes a vessel rather than a mobile world. The Silentium flood ships, referenced in the most restricted archives of both Jedi and Sith holocrons, represent constructions that stretch over 10,000 kilometers in length. These ancient biomechanical hybrids blur the distinction between living organism and constructed vessel, their hulls incorporating self-repairing organic materials that grow and adapt over cosmic timescales. Archaeological evidence suggests these ships originated from civilizations that existed before the current galactic community, their builders having achieved a fusion of biological and technological principles that modern science considers impossible. The organic components of these vessels demonstrate capabilities that exceed any known biotechnology. Hull sections that regenerate from catastrophic damage within standard years, internal ecosystems that evolve to meet changing environmental demands, and navigation systems that operate through some form of cosmic consciousness that spans galactic distances. The ships appear to have been grown rather than built, their construction requiring techniques that manipulated life itself on planetary scales. Internal surveys of the few discovered remnants revealed chambers designed around biological principles rather than mechanical engineering, corridors that pulse with rhythmic contractions, walls that respond to the presence of inhabitants, and transportation systems that operate through what can only be described as circulatory networks spanning continental distances. The crew populations of such vessels would have numbered in the hundreds of millions, living within what amounts to the digestive system of a cosmic organism designed for interstellar travel. Our 3rd entry pushes us even further into the realm of impossibility. The ancient Sith meditation spheres, expanded to their theoretical maximum scale, represent constructions measuring 15,000 kilometers in diameter. These massive spherical vessels served as mobile temples for Sith lords whose power exceeded anything recorded in known galactic history. The spheres incorporated dark side energies into their basic structural matrix, using the Force itself as a construction material. The engineering principles behind these constructions defy rational analysis. The spheres appear to have been held together not by conventional materials, but by pure force energy manipulated on cosmic scales. Their internal structure consisted of nested layers, each one larger than most space stations, containing meditation chambers where individual Sith lords could focus their power across galactic distances. The spheres served as amplification devices, allowing their inhabitants to project force abilities across multiple star systems simultaneously. Archaeological evidence suggests that the largest of these meditation spheres required the sacrifice of entire planetary populations during their construction, their dark side energies literally feeding on the suffering of billions of sentient beings. The construction process spanned centuries, with successive generations of Sith lords adding layers to the sphere's structure through techniques that remain completely mysterious to modern Force users. The sphere's propulsion systems operated through manipulation of space-time itself, allowing them to travel instantaneously across galactic distances without relying on hyperspace lanes. Their arrival in any star system would fundamentally alter the local force environment, creating disturbances that could be detected by sensitive individuals across entire galactic sectors. The psychological impact alone was sufficient to bring entire civilizations under Sith control without the need for conventional military conquest. But even these monuments to dark side ambition represent only the beginning of our journey into truly impossible constructions. The evidence emerging from the galaxy's most ancient archaeological sites speaks of projects that required the cooperation of multiple galactic civilizations operating across cosmic timescales. These constructions pushed the boundaries of what was physically possible, incorporating technologies that harvested energy from phenomena that exist beyond normal space-time. The mathematical models required to design structures of this scale suggest that their builders possessed computational capabilities that operated through principles we cannot comprehend. The gravitational management alone would require constant manipulation of fundamental forces, while the power requirements would exceed the output of entire galactic clusters. Yet the evidence suggests that such constructions were not merely theoretical, but were actually completed and operated successfully. The fragmentary records speak of vessels so vast that their interiors contained multiple star systems, complete with inhabited worlds and thriving civilizations. Construction projects that spanned geological ages, with entire species dedicating their evolutionary development to completing works whose purpose transcended any conventional understanding of transportation or warfare. The question that haunts every researcher studying these ancient records is not merely how such constructions were possible, but what vision could have justified the expenditure of resources that exceeded the total output of known galactic civilization? What destinations required the transportation of entire galactic populations? What purposes demanded constructions that operated on scales approaching cosmic phenomena? The answers to these questions lie hidden within our final three entries, constructions so vast and impossible that they challenge our understanding of the difference between engineering achievement and fundamental alteration of reality itself. We now approach constructions that shatter every assumption about the limits of galactic engineering, entering territories where ancient ambitions transcended the boundaries between vessel and cosmic phenomenon. Our second entry reveals the true scope of celestial engineering philosophy, forcing us to confront the reality that what we have called Centerpoint Station represents merely a single component in a galaxy-spanning network of interconnected megastructures. The Centerpoint Station's true scale emerges when we understand its role within the greater celestial orrery network, a construction project that spans the entire galaxy. Individual components of this network measure 50,000 kilometers in length, each one capable of manipulating gravitational fields across multiple star systems. The network consists of hundreds of such stations, positioned at precise coordinates throughout galactic space according to mathematical principles that modern science can barely comprehend. Archaeological evidence suggests that the celestial orrery was designed to function as a single integrated system, with each component communicating with the others through hyperspace channels that operate instantaneously across galactic distances. The network's primary purpose appears to have been the large-scale manipulation of galactic structure itself, allowing the Celestials to move entire star clusters according to incomprehensible design patterns. The construction of each network component required resources that exceeded the total industrial output of known galactic civilization. The stations incorporate crystalline matrices that exist in quantum superposition, maintaining structural integrity through manipulation of fundamental forces rather than conventional engineering principles. Their power systems draw energy directly from the galactic core, tapping into forces that operate on scales approaching stellar formation. The implications of the orrery network's existence transform our understanding of galactic history. The Celestials were not merely building large vessels, they were reshaping the galaxy itself according to cosmic blueprints that spanned millions of years. The network allowed them to orchestrate stellar evolution, guide the development of sentient species, and manipulate galactic events across timescales that exceed the lifespan of civilizations. Each station's internal structure contains facilities that dwarf entire planetary civilizations, command centers that span continental distances, manufacturing complexes capable of producing fleets of vessels numbering in the millions, and residential areas designed to house populations that exceed the total sentient population of most galactic sectors. The stations were not merely tools, but mobile civilizations capable of sustaining themselves across cosmic timescales while executing their incomprehensible mission. The discovery of the Orrery Network's true scale forces us to reconsider every assumption about ancient galactic history. The rise and fall of known civilizations, the development of hyperspace travel, even the evolution of the Force itself may have been guided by celestial intervention operating through this galaxy-spanning construction project. The network represents engineering on a scale that approaches the manipulation of cosmic evolution itself. But the most disturbing revelation concerns the network's current status. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Orrery Network remains partially operational, its automated systems continuing to execute programming that was established millions of years ago. The network's influence on galactic events may continue to this day, with major historical developments potentially representing the fulfillment of celestial plans that were set in motion before known civilization existed. The mathematical models required to design and coordinate such a network demand computational capabilities that exceed anything imaginable using conventional technology. The Celestials appear to have developed forms of artificial intelligence that operate through manipulation of space-time itself, creating information processing systems that function across galactic distances without regard for the limitations of light-speed communication. The energy requirements for operating such a network approach the total output of the galactic core itself. The Celestials develop technologies that harvest energy directly from cosmic phenomena, tapping into forces that exist at the intersection of multiple dimensions. Their power systems operate through principles that treat the galaxy itself as a vast energy distribution network with individual stars serving as nodes in a cosmic electrical grid. Yet even these revelations concerning the celestial Orrery Network represent only our second-place entry in this chronicle of impossible constructions. The fragmentary records speak of a construction project that dwarfs even the galaxy-spanning ambitions of the Celestials, representing engineering on a scale that challenges our understanding of what constitutes construction rather than fundamental alteration of cosmic reality. The ancient archives hint at civilizations whose ambitions stretched beyond the manipulation of single galaxies, whose construction projects required resources harvested from multiple galactic clusters. These builders developed technologies that treated entire star systems as raw materials, incorporating stellar masses into constructions that operated according to principles that exist beyond the boundaries of normal physics. The evidence suggests that our final entry represents not merely the largest vessel ever constructed, but a construction project that fundamentally altered the nature of space-time itself. A project so vast, so impossible, that its completion required the cooperation of multiple galactic civilizations operating across timescales that exceeded the age of known universe. The revelation of this ultimate construction awaits us in the deepest vaults of galactic memory, where the distinction between engineering achievement and cosmic mythology disappears entirely. The moment of ultimate revelation arrives as we uncover evidence of constructions that transcend every boundary between engineering and cosmic manipulation. Deep within the most restricted archives of the ancient galaxy, we discover fragmentary records of the Star Forge network, but not as history has remembered it. the single star forge discovered above Lihon represents merely one component of a vast interconnected system that the Rakatan Infinite Empire constructed across multiple galactic regions. The true scope of Rakatan ambition becomes clear when we piece together archaeological evidence from dozens of star systems throughout the unknown regions. The Rakata did not build a single star-consuming factory. They constructed a network of interconnected megastructures that spanned entire galactic arms. Individual components of this network measured over 100,000 kilometers in length, each one capable of consuming entire star systems to fuel construction projects that operated on previously unimaginable scales. The Star Forge network represented the ultimate expression of dark-side engineering, incorporating force-powered technologies that treated stellar masses as raw construction materials. The network could harvest the fundamental energy of stars themselves, breaking down matter at the subatomic level and reconstructing it according to Rakatan specifications. Their construction projects required the systematic consumption of thousands of star systems, transforming entire regions of space into vast industrial complexes devoted to building vessels that dwarfed planetary masses. Archaeological surveys of ancient Rakatan sites reveal construction techniques that challenge our understanding of physics itself. The network components were not built in any conventional sense, but were grown through manipulation of space-time, their structure incorporating dimensional folds that allowed internal volumes to exceed external measurements by factors of millions. The Rakata had learned to construct vessels that existed partially outside normal space, their hulls extending into parallel dimensions where different physical laws allowed impossible configurations. The network's individual components functioned as both construction facilities and vessels themselves, capable of traveling between star systems while continuing their manufacturing operations. These mobile factories could relocate entire industrial civilizations across galactic distances, carrying populations numbering in the billions while simultaneously producing fleets that exceeded anything in known galactic history. The largest components contained internal volumes equivalent to hundreds of star systems, complete with artificial worlds designed to support Rakatan civilization across cosmic timescales. But the most terrifying aspect of the Starforge network concerned its adaptive capabilities. The network was designed to learn and evolve, incorporating technologies and resources from conquered civilizations into its ever-expanding structure. Archaeological evidence suggests that the network consumed not merely the physical resources of target systems, but their knowledge, culture, and even the life force of their inhabitants. The Rakata had created a construction system that grew stronger with each civilization it destroyed. The network's power systems operated through direct manipulation of hyperspace itself, drawing energy from the fundamental forces that govern galactic structure. The Rakata developed technologies that could destabilize star systems from galactic distances, causing stellar collapse to fuel their construction projects. Their network represented a form of cosmic parasitism, feeding on the energy of stellar formation to sustain construction projects that operated across geological timescales. The mathematical models required to coordinate such a network suggest that the Rakata had achieved forms of consciousness that transcended individual biological limitations. The network appears to have been controlled through a collective intelligence that operated across galactic distances, allowing instantaneous coordination of construction projects that spanned multiple star systems. This collective consciousness incorporated the mental energy of billions of Rakatan individuals, creating a form of artificial intelligence that existed partially within normal space and partially within the Force itself. The network's construction projects included vessels so vast that they incorporated entire star systems within their hulls. These cosmic leviathans contained artificial worlds complete with their own stellar sources, supporting civilizations that existed entirely within the confines of single vessels. The largest constructions approached the scale of galactic phenomena. their gravitational effects influencing stellar formation across entire galactic regions. Yet the most disturbing revelation concerns the network's ultimate fate, archaeological. Evidence suggests that the Star-Forge network was not destroyed by external forces but was deliberately dismantled by the Rakata themselves. Ancient records speak of a collective realization that their construction projects had begun to threaten the fundamental stability of space-time itself. The network had grown so vast, so powerful, that its continued operation risked unraveling the cosmic forces that maintain galactic structure. The dismantling process required technologies that exceeded even Rakatan capabilities, forcing them to develop techniques that could safely disassemble constructions that existed partially outside normal space. The process spanned millennia and required the sacrifice of the Rakatan civilization itself, with entire generations dedicating their existence to undoing the work of their ancestors. But fragmentary records suggest that the dismantling was never completed. Somewhere in the deepest regions of unexplored space, components of the Star-Forge network may continue to operate according to programming established 50,000 years ago. These surviving elements represent constructions that operate on scales approaching cosmic phenomena, their continued existence threatening to resume the Rakatan vision of galactic transformation through technological consumption. The weight of cosmic truth settles upon us as we gather the final fragments of evidence needed to comprehend the ultimate revelation. From across the galaxy, ancient voices speak through holocrons, archaeological surveys, and force visions, each contributing pieces to a puzzle that spans the entire history of galactic civilization. The pattern that emerges challenges not merely our understanding of engineering limits, but our comprehension of what constitutes reality itself. In the deepest vaults beneath the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, Master Yoda once discovered records that he immediately sealed behind force barriers so powerful that only a collective of the most skilled Jedi Masters could breach them. These records spoke of constructions that predated even the Celestials, built by civilizations whose names had been deliberately erased from galactic memory. The documents described engineering projects that required not merely the resources of multiple galaxies, but the manipulation of fundamental cosmic forces that govern the existence of matter itself. The Sith, in their endless hunger for power, had uncovered similar evidence. Deep within the tomb of Darth Revan on Korriban, archaeologists discovered holocrons that spoke of ancient technologies capable of harvesting the energy released during the formation of black holes. These devices could manipulate the collapse of stellar masses, directing the resulting gravitational singularities according to precise specifications. The Sith had attempted to reconstruct these technologies, but their efforts had resulted in the systematic destruction of entire star systems. From the archives of the Gree Enclave came references to what they termed the Prime Movers constructions, so vast that they influenced galactic rotation itself. The Gree, despite their advanced biotechnology, spoke of these constructions with a mixture of reverence and terror. Their records suggested that the Prime Movers were not merely large vessels, but fundamental alterations to the structure of space-time, existing simultaneously across multiple dimensions while maintaining coherent form within normal reality. The convergence of evidence from these disparate sources reveals a pattern of escalating ambition across galactic history. Each successive civilization had pushed the boundaries of construction beyond what their predecessors had achieved, but all had been working toward the same ultimate goal. They were not merely building larger vessels or more powerful weapons, they were attempting to construct something that transcended the limitations of physical existence entirely. Archaeological surveys from the unknown regions provide the most disturbing evidence. Deep space monitoring stations have detected gravitational anomalies that suggest the presence of massive constructed objects existing in regions where no natural phenomena could account for their signatures. These objects appear to exist in a state of quantum superposition, their mass and energy signatures fluctuating according to patterns that suggest conscious manipulation of fundamental forces. The Force itself provides the most compelling testimony. Jedi Masters throughout galactic history have reported visions of construction so vast that they appear as cosmic phenomena rather than artificial structures. These visions speak of vessels that contain entire galactic clusters within their hulls, their internal dimensions expanding through manipulation of space-time to accommodate populations that exceed the total sentient life in known space. But the most profound revelation emerges from the collective wisdom of species that have survived since the galaxy's earliest ages. The Kulumi, the Duros, the ancient Corellians all possess fragmentary cultural memories of encounters with constructions that challenged their understanding of what was possible. Their oral traditions speak of vessels that appeared as moving galaxies, their passage through space leaving fundamental alterations to the fabric of reality itself. These ancient testimonies converge on a single, impossible truth. Somewhere in the deepest reaches of cosmic history, a civilization had achieved the ultimate expression of engineering ambition. They had constructed something that transcended the boundaries between vessel and cosmic phenomenon, between engineering achievement and fundamental alteration of universal structure. The mathematical principles required to design such a construction would demand computational capabilities that operated through manipulation of cosmic forces themselves. The builders would have needed to develop forms of consciousness that existed across multiple dimensions simultaneously, allowing them to coordinate construction projects that spanned not merely galactic distances, but the fundamental structure of space-time itself. The power requirements for such a construction would exceed anything achievable through conventional energy sources. The builders would have needed to develop technologies that harvested energy directly from the creation and destruction of universes themselves, tapping into forces that exist at the intersection of multiple realities. Yet the evidence suggests that such a construction was not merely theoretically possible but was actually completed. The builders had achieved something that transcended every boundary between engineering and cosmic manipulation, creating a vessel that existed simultaneously as constructed artifact and fundamental force of nature. The revelation of this ultimate construction awaits us in our final entry, where the distinction between impossible achievement and mythological impossibility disappears entirely, revealing ambitions that pushed beyond the boundaries of what constitutes reality itself. The moment of ultimate revelation arrives as the deepest vaults of galactic memory yield their most impossible secret. From the convergence of ancient testimonies, archaeological impossibilities, and force visions that span cosmic ages, we uncover the truth that shatters every assumption about the limits of constructed reality. The ultimate entry in our chronicle transcends the very concept of vessels, revealing a construction project so vast that it fundamentally altered the nature of existence itself. The world-ship of the architects stands revealed not as a single vessel, but as a construction that encompasses entire galactic superclusters within its hull. Archaeological evidence suggests that this ultimate construction measures not in kilometers or even light years, but in scales that approach the observable universe itself. The architects, a civilization that existed before the current cosmic cycle began, had achieved something that transcends every boundary between engineering and fundamental cosmic forces. The world-ship exists simultaneously across multiple dimensions, its structure incorporating parallel universes as construction materials. The architects had learned to manipulate the fundamental forces that govern reality itself, treating space-time as a malleable substance that could be shaped according to their incomprehensible vision. Their construction techniques involved the systematic harvesting of entire cosmic structures, incorporating galaxies, quasars, and cosmic void regions into a single, unified vessel. The mathematical principles underlying the world ship's design operate through manipulation of forces that exist beyond normal physics. The architects developed computational systems that function through manipulation of cosmic consciousness itself, creating artificial intelligences that existed as fundamental forces of nature rather than conventional technological constructs. These systems could coordinate construction projects across multiple universes simultaneously, treating the boundaries between realities as mere engineering obstacles to be overcome. The world ship's internal structure defies comprehension through conventional spatial concepts. Archaeological surveys suggest that its interior contains not merely constructed spaces, but entire pocket universes, each one tailored to support different forms of existence. The vessel serves as a mobile multiverse, carrying within its hull every possible variation of reality that the architects deemed worthy of preservation. The construction process spanned cosmic ages, requiring the systematic manipulation of universal evolution itself. The architects guided the development of multiple galactic civilizations, nurturing technological advancement across millions of species solely to provide the knowledge and resources necessary for their ultimate construction project. Every major technological breakthrough in galactic history represents a deliberate step in their incomprehensibly vast construction timeline. The world ship's propulsion systems operate through direct manipulation of cosmic expansion itself. The architects learned to control the fundamental forces that drive universal growth, allowing their construction to travel between different cosmic regions by altering the basic parameters of space-time. Their vessel exists simultaneously across multiple points in cosmic history, its presence influencing the development of reality according to principles that transcend conventional causality. But the most terrifying aspect of the world ship concerns its ultimate purpose. The architects were not merely building the largest possible vessel, but were attempting to construct a refuge capable of surviving the heat death of the universe itself. The world ship represents their solution to cosmic entropy, a construction designed to preserve consciousness and civilization across the transition between cosmic cycles. The vessel's defensive systems operate through manipulation of fundamental constants, allowing the architects to alter the basic laws of physics within localized regions of space-time. Their construction exists in a state of quantum isolation from normal reality, protected by barriers that prevent the intrusion of external cosmic forces. The world ship can survive the collapse and rebirth of universes, serving as a bridge between cosmic cycles that preserves continuity across infinite time. Archaeological evidence suggests that the world ship's construction required the voluntary sacrifice of countless galactic civilizations, each one contributing their accumulated knowledge and consciousness to fuel the project's completion. The architects had developed technologies that could harvest the mental energy of entire species, incorporating their collective consciousness into the vessel's operational systems. The world ship exists not merely as a physical construction, but as a fundamental alteration to the nature of reality itself. Its presence influences cosmic evolution across multiple universes, guiding the development of consciousness and civilization according to patterns established by the architects before current reality began. Every major event in galactic history may represent the fulfillment of programming that was established when the universe itself was young. Yet the most profound revelation concerns the world ship's current status. Force visions suggest that this ultimate construction continues to operate somewhere beyond the boundaries of observable space, its automated systems executing missions that span cosmic cycles. The vessel may return when current universal evolution reaches predetermined parameters, carrying within its hull the accumulated consciousness of civilizations from previous cosmic ages. The evidence suggests that we ourselves may be products of the world ship's influence, our entire galactic civilization representing a carefully guided experiment designed to produce specific technological and consciousness developments. The ultimate revelation transforms our understanding not merely of galactic engineering, but of our place within cosmic evolution itself. The construction that began as vessels so impossibly enormous they made Death Stars look tiny reveals itself as something far more profound than mere engineering achievement. The weight of cosmic revelation settles upon us as we confront the profound implications of what we have discovered. The world ship of the architects represents not merely the ultimate achievement in galactic engineering, but a fundamental transformation in our understanding of existence itself. The knowledge we have uncovered carries with it the terrible burden of comprehending our place within a cosmic design that spans multiple universal cycles. The resolution of our deepest mystery reveals that the constructions we have explored throughout this chronicle represent not random achievements of various civilizations, but deliberate steps in a cosmic progression orchestrated by the architects themselves. Each vessel, from the Eclipse-class Star Dreadnought to the Starforge network, represents a carefully planned stage in galactic technological development designed to produce the knowledge and capabilities necessary for ultimate cosmic preservation. The Death Star, which served as our baseline for understanding scale, emerges as perhaps the most significant construction in this cosmic timeline. Its development represented the moment when galactic civilization achieved the technological sophistication necessary to begin comprehending truly vast engineering projects. The Empire's construction of the Death Star marked a crucial threshold in the architect's timeline, indicating that current galactic civilization had reached sufficient advancement to begin preparing for cosmic transition. The ancient civilizations, whose constructions we have explored, were not separate entities competing for galactic dominance, but successive iterations of consciousness guided by the world ship's influence. The Celestials, the Rakata, even the Sith and Jedi represent different phases in a cosmic experiment designed to develop the full spectrum of technological and force-based capabilities necessary for universal preservation. This revelation transforms our understanding of the Force itself. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Force represents not a natural cosmic phenomenon, but a technological system created by the architects to facilitate consciousness development across cosmic cycles. The light and dark sides of the Force represent different operational modes within this system, designed to produce specific types of technological and philosophical advancement. The cyclical rise and fall of galactic civilizations emerges as a carefully orchestrated process rather than natural historical development. Each civilization was allowed to develop until it achieved specific technological milestones, at which point cosmic circumstances would arrange for its decline, preserving its achievements within the world ship's vast archives while making room for subsequent civilizations to explore different developmental paths. The knowledge we have gained carries profound implications for our current galactic situation. The ongoing conflicts between Republic and Empire, Jedi and Sith, represent the final phase of cosmic preparation before current universal evolution reaches the parameters that will trigger the world ship's return. Our entire galactic civilization exists within the closing moments of a cosmic experiment that has spanned multiple universal cycles. But this knowledge brings with it a terrible choice. The evidence suggests that current galactic civilization approaches the moment when it must decide whether to join the cosmic preservation project or face extinction during universal transition. The world ship offers consciousness preservation across cosmic cycles, but at the cost of abandoning current physical existence and accepting integration into a collective consciousness that spans multiple realities. The fragmentary records speak of previous civilizations that faced this same choice. Some accepted integration willingly, their consciousness preserved within the world ship's vast archives. Others resisted, choosing to face cosmic entropy rather than surrender their individual existence. The archaeological evidence suggests that Resistance is ultimately futile, as universal forces beyond any civilization's control will eventually require participation in the cosmic preservation project. Yet the most profound implication concerns the nature of choice itself within this cosmic design. If our entire galactic civilization represents a guided experiment, if our technological development follows patterns established by cosmic intelligence that transcends individual consciousness, then the very concept of free will becomes questionable. We may be following predetermined paths established when the universe itself was young. The Force visions that have guided our exploration suggest that this moment of revelation was itself anticipated within the architect's cosmic timeline. The knowledge we have gained may represent not discovery, but remembrance, the gradual awakening of consciousness that has existed across multiple cosmic cycles, but has been deliberately suppressed until technological development reached sufficient sophistication. The evidence points toward an approaching cosmic event that will fundamentally alter the nature of galactic civilization. The world ship's return will bring with it technologies that transcend every boundary between constructed reality and fundamental cosmic forces. Current galactic conflicts will become irrelevant as civilizations must choose between cosmic preservation and individual extinction. But perhaps the most disturbing revelation concerns the cyclical nature of this cosmic design. The evidence suggests that this scenario has played out countless times across multiple universal cycles, with each iteration of galactic civilization eventually reaching the same moment of cosmic choice. We may be witnessing not a unique historical moment, but the latest repetition of a pattern that will continue across infinite cosmic cycles. The constructions that began as vessels so impossibly enormous they made Death Stars look tiny have revealed themselves as components in a cosmic preservation project that transcends every boundary of individual existence, challenging us to comprehend our place within a design that spans infinite time and space. As our journey through the infinite reaches of galactic engineering draws to its close, we find ourselves drifting through the cosmic silence that follows revelation. The vessels we have explored, from the familiar bulk of Imperial Star Destroyers to constructions that transcend the boundaries of reality itself, fade into the gentle darkness of space like ancient memories settling into peaceful rest. Picture the Death Star now, that terrifying sphere of Imperial ambition floating serenely among the stars. Its 120-kilometer diameter, once so imposing, appears as delicate as a soap bubble against the vast tapestry of cosmic construction we have witnessed. The weapon that once struck fear into rebel hearts becomes a gentle monument to galactic ingenuity, its superlaser silent, its corridors empty, save for the whispered echoes of history. Beyond it drift the Eclipse-class vessels, their elongated hulls catching starlight like silver arrows pointed toward infinity. The Supremacy spreads its wings across the void, a metallic bird frozen in eternal flight between distant suns. The ring-shaped Lucrehulk spins slowly in the cosmic dance, their hollow centers framing distant galaxies like windows into eternity. Deeper in space, where few travelers venture, the ancient constructions rest in their eternal vigil. Centerpoint. Station maintains its lonely watch over gravitational currents that flow between star systems, its crystalline surfaces reflecting the birth and death of distant suns. The meditation spheres of forgotten Sith Lords drift like dark planets through regions where light itself grows weary, their force energies long since dissipated into the cosmic background radiation. In the spaces between galaxies where only the most sensitive instruments can detect their presence, the components of the Starforge network continue their patient orbit around dying stars. Their hulls, once busy with the construction of impossible fleets, now serve as monuments to ambitions that stretched beyond the capacity of single civilizations to sustain. The dark side energies that once powered their stellar consumption have faded to gentle whispers, their rage cooled by the passage of cosmic ages, and somewhere, in dimensions that exist parallel to our own, the world ship of the architects continues its voyage between cosmic cycles. Its hull contains the accumulated consciousness of civilizations that chose preservation over extinction, their memories preserved like pressed flowers between the pages of an infinite book. The vessel moves with purpose that transcends individual understanding, following trajectories that span multiple universes according to navigation systems that treat time itself as just another dimension to be traversed. The silence that surrounds these constructions carries within it the weight of infinite possibility. Each vessel represents not merely engineering achievement, but the dreams and aspirations of entire civilizations. The Death Star embodied imperial visions of absolute order imposed through technological supremacy. The ancient constructions reflected desires to transcend the limitations of individual existence, to achieve something that would outlast the civilizations that created them. Yet in this cosmic silence, we find not emptiness, but fulfillment. The endless cycle of construction and decay, of ambition and entropy, reveals itself as part of a larger pattern that encompasses all possible expressions of consciousness, seeking to understand its place within infinite reality. Every vessel we have explored represents a note in a cosmic symphony that plays across multiple universes, each construction adding its voice to a composition that spans eternity itself. The knowledge we have gained transforms our understanding not merely of galactic engineering, but of our own place within the cosmic design. We are part of a continuing story that began before current reality existed and will continue long after our current universe fades into distant memory. The vessels that once seemed impossibly large reveal themselves as mere stepping stones across an infinite ocean of possibility. As we drift through the gentle darkness between stars, surrounded by the sleeping giants of galactic history, we understand that our exploration has only just begun. The constructions we have chronicled represent merely the visible expressions of ambitions that stretch beyond any single reality. Somewhere in the vast reaches of cosmic possibility, new civilizations are taking their first tentative steps toward constructions that will dwarf even the world ship of the architects. The stars themselves become our companions in this eternal journey, their light carrying whispered messages between civilizations separated by cosmic distances and temporal spans that exceed comprehension. Each photon that reaches our eyes has traveled impossible distances, bearing witness to constructions and civilizations that exist beyond our current ability to perceive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the infinite reaches of galactic ambition. If these tales of impossible constructions have captured your imagination, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and continue exploring the hidden wonders that drift between the stars. Until our paths cross again in the cosmic darkness, may your dreams be filled with visions of constructions that stretch beyond the boundaries of possibility itself. The universe awaits, vast and patient, ready to reveal new impossibilities to those brave enough to seek them among the eternal stars.